All right, let's take two. We're on a take two. And it's so funny because this is actually one of the things that I wanted to talk through with Saturn and one of the topics I had. So I love that this just happened. So for those of you, I'm gonna delete the other one. We don't need it. We're gonna go ahead and just recap super quickly. But we were live, started at 5:30 Central Time, like normal. This screen froze, although I'm going to try and screenshot that picture because it did look super cute. And had to reboot the whole computer, and now we are back. We are here again. Welcome everybody to Twitchy Tuesday. I am Maloney Adams with Habitual Sages. See that this I didn't even do this on the first one. This is why we're back again. Got all of the wiggles out, got all of the niggle things out that I needed to get out, and now we're back and ready to roll. Welcome to Twitchy Tuesday. We talk about all things astrology and tarot here live on Twitch, as well as streaming live on YouTube. Everything can be found on my Twitch page as well as my YouTube page. And I do have the chat up. So if you are joining, make sure you drop into the chat, say hello, ask any questions that you have, and let's get into it. So we are on February 14th. 2023, the second Twitchy Tuesday here. And we have a good amount of energy in astrology this week. And I'm really excited to talk to everybody about it. We're transitioning signs. We're moving into Pisces season. We've got a new moon at the end of this week. So, on the 20th, so 7 days from today. And we had a whole experience this past week. I can't wait to talk to you about. I've got a really great Saturn spread that I was called to put out there that I can't wait to show everybody when we get to that point. And this is going to be a Saturn heavy conversation today. Saturn is really making his presence known, at least for me and in my life. So we're going to talk about it. All right, so let's get to the astrology. First and foremost, we have tomorrow, the 15th, Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces. And you'll have to forgive all of this. This is part of the trip, nasally, can't really breathe out the nose very clear, a little clogged up. But we have Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces on the 15th. That is going to be what Hallmark has tried to make the 14th all about. That is sexual, feeling, erotic, kind of like let me dissolve into my feeling body. Let me dissolve into how I touch things, how I taste things, how I feel things on my body. And giving you just kind of this really brief, beautiful moment to pause, to relax, to break away from Saturn, essentially, all of these things and all of the heaviness that's going on. This Venus conjunct Neptune can be a great kind of like brain break for that, and a great way to get into our feelings center. Just make sure that you're still like, yes, I can breathe today. I can go and splurge on something nice for myself, but know that the next day and as Venus moves on, you too also have to move on from that energy. So then on the 16th, we have Mercury in Aquarius squaring the North Node in Taurus, and the bigger energy of the day, the Sun conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. And again, this is going to be a Saturn heavy conversation, and we'll talk a lot about Saturn as he's been in Aquarius. But this is truly one of those moments, the Sun conjunct Saturn, that I felt into as like your work as Saturn has been in Aquarius is coming to a close. Like if you haven't already done it, it ain't worth changing it right now. Right? Like yes, always it's always a good time to change, but the things that you were meant to get, to gain, to go through your lessons, all of the things that Saturn does for us, right? Which we'll talk about. If the last 2 years, or since I should say 2020, hasn't gotten you there yet, like this is reward season now. This is the time where the sun conjunct Saturn at these kind of final degree points where it's like, hey, let's illuminate and give yourself a pat on the back for all the things that you did do, all the things that you did go through and that you learned and that you traversed. And if there were things that you wanted to still do, or that you're like, man, I should have done that. I should have, like, I talk about it like a competition, right? Like, I should have done the double tuck in our cheerleading competition. The judges are totally going to take off 2 points. You're already fucking done. So that shit don't matter no more, right? You can't go back into that routine and add that double tuck. What you can do is let the judges, this Saturn conjunct the sun in Aquarius, you can let your scores come down. And then knowing that you are where you're at, you can make those changes then the next round. Get those extra points the next round. Adjust your other things. I'm getting a lot of gymnastics sort of ideology here. Those are the visions that are coming in where, yes, you have this all around that you can win, but you also are really focused on your one particular strength, right? You've got the all around, so you want to do good in every single thing that you can. But if, let's say, you did fall off the balance beam, you need to fucking nail your floor routine, and you need to pull out all stops on that floor routine so you can make those adjustments on the fly as you're transitioning through these energies. Sun conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. Look at where you've come. Maybe something's highlighting. Give yourself those pats on the back. Look forward to the future and go, all right, what do I need to adjust now? My reward is coming. I know the judges are going to give me a solid score. So how do I win then the overall? How do I keep moving forward? Then we have on the 17th, Mercury in Aquarius sextiling Jupiter in Aries. Mercury in Aquarius, again, this is very frank conversations. Very like, no, this is the way shit is. And with Jupiter in Aries, which, remember, take advantage of this Jupiter in Aries time. He is here for a very, very limited amount of time. But Mercury in Aquarius sextiling, this is a great time where Mercury can give you and give that Jupiter in Aries information. It can give like the frankness, the assessment, the ability to clear all the bullshit away and just, this is what you need to do. It may not be exactly what you want to hear, but it's exactly what you need to hear. Then on the 18th, it's Pisces season, y'all. The sun ingresses into Pisces. So excited for Pisces season. There is a lot of movement in this Pisces season. It is a very, very dynamic full Piscean season all the way until we hit Aries in March. And it is full of change. For a lot of Pisces, there's a lot about this like disillusion and just wanting to be like beyond the veil, behind the veil, not maybe the center of attention. This year, Pisces is getting a lot of attention. There's a lot of things happening in Pisces. And as the sun transitions through the sign of Pisces, on its way into Aries. So we will talk more about that as we continue on these conversations. Then on the 19th, Venus in Pisces sextiles Pluto in Capricorn. Another very just interesting energy where Venus is kind of like detached and just like, la-di-da. I'm exalted. I'm a princess. I love all of the things. Sextiling Pluto in Capricorn, who is also finalizing this journey in Capricorn, not fully. I mean, we still have a little bit left to go with Pluto in Cap through the rest of this year and into next year a little bit, but like he's preparing for something massive and hitting that 0 degree mark of Aquarius in March. Like Venus and Mercury really have this opportunity and is giving us this opportunity to pick up some very clear things, whether that's what we're feeling, whether that's what we're thinking, whether that's what we're communicating, whether that's how we're setting up for the future and our stability and our security, our value systems. But Venus and Mercury are getting these small, tiny hits from the outer planets, which are like, you may be having a great time where you're at, but make sure you don't forget about us. Make sure if you can clear out the noise that these outer planets are like, there's a lot of noise around these outer planets. If you can clear out that noise, Mercury and Venus have a lot to teach you through their transits in February and into March before we get these massive energy swings. And then on the 20th, Venus actually enters Aries. And this is why we have honeycombs. I did pull because on the same day, the new moon in Pisces is at 1 degrees 22 minutes. So we'll pull some cards for that. But I did take a look at my beautiful honeycomb, and Venus is actually not in Aries at the time of the moon, which the moon happens at 1:05 a.m. Central Time on the 20th. Venus is actually at 29 degrees 57 minutes. We are minutes away from her getting into Aries. And I love that for this new moon in Pisces because yes, there are aspects. I'm not going to say there's not aspects here, but there's not a lot of like massive aspects to the sun and the moon in this new moon. And just like Pisces, a lot of the energy is around. A lot of the energy is in the conversations that are happening and the energy shifts that are happening around the sun and the moon. And quite frankly, we've got a lot of energies that are really close to the sun and the moon, within the same signs or from between Aquarius and Pisces. There's conversations that are happening between Mercury and Uranus. So we also have Mercury and Mars in a conversation. So there's a lot that's happening and a lot that's dynamic around that moon, which again, we'll pull more cards for when we get to it. But yeah, Venus in Aries doesn't happen yet, but I love that the moon activates and then Venus drops into Aries and really pulls forward that activation energy of the moon. Like it's almost, oh my gosh, this is so funny. I'm seeing it like a cape. So like here's Venus. I'm imagining the glyph of Venus, and she's like basking in all of her Piscean glory. And then it's like the roller coaster starts and she's got this cape that's just like trailing behind her. She's like supermaning all the way down this massive roller coaster right into the Aries energy. I love that. Venus in Aries is a lot about, it can be very impulsive. So kind of like, hey, we told you to keep your arms and legs inside of the roller coaster at all times. And as Venus is going on this, she's like, yeah, I don't need to do that. So that can be a little bit of that Venus and Aries. There's also a very directness. It can be very poignant, very hot, very direct is a great word, very direct. And like there's a lot of energy. Venus picks up a lot of energy within that Aries space. And, sometimes it can be overwhelming on the senses a little bit. Like, whoa, okay, here I was kind of in this veil and this illusion of sense where, yes, I'm connected, but I can like distance myself from all of the not pleasant things that I don't want to see or hear or do. And then you drop into Aries and it's like, yeah, you don't have a choice anymore. You got to pay attention to this. So Venus in Aries happens just after that new moon in Pisces, which is going to be really, really great. So Saturn. Take a drink. Saturn. I love Saturn. I love talking about Saturn. I love working with Saturn. And I love bringing people to Saturn and thinking about Saturn in a different way and in a way that can really like cultivate and push your life forward in so many new and amazing ways. So, excuse me. So first off, I want to just roll back to my 2023 astrology overview where we talked about quarter one is assessing the landscape. Saturn has a lot to do with that. Saturn plays a very large role in looking at your landscape, your foundations, your structures that you're working with and you're working towards, and making sure that they're sound, making sure that um there's things that you don't need to change, or areas that you don't need to look at. Are you doing the work necessary? Are you avoiding certain work? That's really where Saturn's strength comes from. And it's through that diligent process of the work that you end up getting rewarded, and you get rewards beyond your dreams. And these aren't short term rewards, these are the rewards that you remember all throughout your life. And it's the wisdom. Ooh, this is just coming in. Excuse me, because Saturn does have an ancestral aspect to it. There is this idea that these are the rewards that you get to pass on to future generations. That you get to, you get to leave your mark on the world through all of these experiences that you gained as Saturn, as working with Saturn and as going through a Saturn process. Speaking of which, thank you, ancestors, that just totally dropped in and came through. So for example, in how this can show up, there's many ways that this can come about, but we had a trip that we took over this past week, and it's so crazy how quickly, just in a week, a whole life changes, right? My son and my new daughter-in-law got married on Saturday. I love them so much, and I was so blessed to be there and attend that with them and watch them just literally bloom and blossom into two amazing humans, and two humans that are going to carry that energy forward, my legacy forward. That's just so crazy, y'all. I'm gonna just praying for grandchildren. That's gonna be amazing. Um, but it's through this trip, we did a bunch of different things. I had some initiations, I did some spiritual work, I went and saw my kids get married, we went on a road trip, and everything was in purpose. We'll put it that way, right? My son and daughter-in-law getting married in purpose, me getting initiations in purpose. Um, the road trip in purpose, right? There was purpose, long-term purpose behind it. And I think throughout that process, we went in with this goal and this mindset, okay, this is what we're going to do, or at least I did. This is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to come about. And I think we actually ended up learning more about what we don't want than what we do want. And that's super duper valuable in its own right. Learning what you don't want. That is also a very Saturn thing, right? Here's, I'm going to do the work, Saturn. I'm doing the work right now. I put this together. I have mindfulness. I have mindset on it. And all that I get out of it, instead of being able to move another 3 steps forward in the process, is I'm still at the same place I was before we left. However, I have a much clearer understanding of my grid square. I have a much clearer understanding of what I'm standing on and the next moves that I need to make. And that is a very, very valuable lesson. The other thing that happened was we were traveling, we took a road trip. So from Vegas back to Texas, we went through the Four Corners, which I had never been to, up into Colorado, dropped down into New Mexico. We literally were driving. Sorry, let me rephrase that. My husband was driving and got all the way to the Four Corners at the second that they closed. The people that worked there were literally closing the gate and locking it up for the night as we are driving by. So we didn't actually get to go and see the Four Corners, but we drove past it, which was great. Challenge, right? that was a challenge. That was something that was planned as part of this. Like, yeah, let's go see the Four Corners. We're going to go get a sticker for our bar. We're going to do the things. I'm going to get a mug. Um, but it didn't happen. So how did we react, right? How did we That's what Saturn is asking you. Like, what are your reactions when that happens? Are you able to go with the flow? Are you able to pivot? Are you able to pivot? Do you have a solid enough emotional foundation to not let something like that completely, destroy or completely shake, completely crumble what you're trying to achieve? And then excuse me. And then part of that too was this wonderful, amazing hours. And we're talking hours, y'all, where there was no signal. Like, we were going from 5G to like dial up to SOS. You're going to be lucky if you get caught out here. I don't know how people are going to help you. You better start using your survival skills. To, yeah, nope, nobody's coming. Don't worry if you get a flat tire. Like, you're going to have to figure your shit out. No, expect nobody to come and save you. Um, so it was like this really wonderful, amazing time of not having access to technology, not having access to the phone. We didn't have music on for a bunch of the time, and just really being able to sit and to connect without all of the fucking noise. Not all of the stimulation. And that's another, again, gift of Saturn. It could be a challenge for some. So, how do you react in those situations? But also this ability to shut off, shut down, and enjoy where you're at and look at the foundation and where you're at today. And take those moments of contemplation, take those moments of assessing. Again, the quarter one, assessing the landscape. Not necessarily that is a full Saturn thing, but it falls in line with these energies. Assessing where we are at today as Saturn closes out these final degrees in Aquarius, as Pluto closes out these final degrees in Capricorn. Where have we been? What has come of that? And where are we going? So I'm going to go ahead and pop in the cards right now. I do want to talk through. So this is all Saturn. I was called to bring about this Saturn deck. So let me show you. We have, and I will make sure to put all of these, if you are on YouTube, in the description box, the Barbary Zodiac Oracle. Not sure you pronounce the first one, but it will be in there with an Amazon link. And the Celestial Tarot. So we have two different visions, two different interpretations of Saturn, of Aquarius, and of Pisces. And they're very visually different. And I even have the books here already marked to talk through some of them. So this is kind of the starting spread that wanted to come out to really hone in on this Saturn energy and talk through it. And then we have the Morgan Greer Tarot to talk through and to just get additional messages, and we'll pull some cards for the moon as well as the sun in Pisces getting into Pisces season. So, oh my God, I love the tiny tarot deck. Isn't this they're just the best tiny little cards. So I'm going to start shuffling these because I am totally feeling called. All right. So Saturn, let's talk about his journey. Saturn entered Aquarius March 21st, 2020. Welcome to Saturn in Aquarius. The conjunction with Pluto, we know what happened, what that correlated with, and what kind of our journey has been over the last, up until this point. So we're going to be 3 years now. What have we collectively gone through as not just an American people, right? This is where I live, is in America, but also the world as a universal people, as humans. What have we been through since March 21st, 2020? That is the Saturn and Aquarian signature that it left us with. So March 21st, Saturn entered Aquarius. It did retrograde back into Capricorn. And then on December 17th of 2020, it fully entered Aquarius, and it's been moving in Aquarius ever since. On 3/7 is when Saturn will enter Pisces. We will have a whole new round of Saturn returns. So all of our Saturn and Pisces kids, welcome to your Saturn return. You've probably already been feeling it and are going to be getting into it pretty heavy over the next couple of years. And then Saturn's going to be in Pisces. This is it. We don't get a end Saturn retrograde like we did when Saturn moved out of Capricorn into Aquarius, then went back into Cap, then back into Aquarius fully. Oh no, bitches. This is it. Saturn is saying, you you don't get that luxury of me sliding back and forth between Pisces and Aquarius. I like, let's just be honest. Saturn did what it came to do. Saturn has fulfilled its Aquarian contract, right? Like he did the damn thing in Aquarius. And so it's a fine there's a finality, right? Like this sun conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, finality. This is the last hurrah. Get in where you fit in. Closed mouths don't get fed. Moving forward, you don't get another chance here, right? Well, at least for 28 to 29 years. Saturn's just going to be chilling out in Pisces now. And that is a very, very different energy signature, Saturn and Pisces. So Saturn stays in a sign for about 2.5 years, 28 to 29 years to go around the zodiac. That's what is called a Saturn return. It happens, between your 28th, maybe even 30th. I feel like I was a late Saturn return, more so because I just wasn't listening or paying attention or had any of this knowledge. So that was fun. Saturn's role is really about maturity. It's about bringing us to maturity in our lives. It's about bringing us to achievement. It's about bringing us to responsibility. It's about bringing us to our award systems. It's also a lot of that, and how we do a lot of that is through challenges, tests, chaos, and disruption. That's how Saturn manages. And get triggered, don't get triggered, right? Like totally fine either way. But like things happen for you, not to you. That is Saturn's lesson. Like I get, okay, I totally had to mature through that. Okay. In order to achieve that, I totally had to grow. And the only way I could grow is through this test, through this, through this disruption. I thought I wanted to be a doctor, and then all of a sudden, bam, like disruption. And now who knew I'm making millions as an app creator, with my doctoral knowledge? Saturn, right? And while Saturn's been in Aquarius, what do we have here? 9 of Wands. Ooh, there we go. Challenge tests, right? And getting your achievements. How do you set and fortify? How do you know you're standing in your power? How do you know, you can't plant all of these wands unless there's purpose. You can't plant all of these wands unless you've gone through, right? Like you don't get rewarded this wand for doing nothing. No, this is like, yeah. Oh my gosh. It's like planting your flag on top. This is channeling. Excuse me, planting your flag on top of Mount Everest. Not everybody gets to do that. You can't just be like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to pay you. Can you go and plant this flag for me? No, bitch. You got to climb the mountain. You got to climb the mountain to plant the flag. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you could pay somebody, but why would you do that? You didn't earn it. You didn't get the reward from it. You didn't grow from it. You didn't mature from it. You didn't achieve anything, right? So while Saturn has been in Aquarius, one of Saturn's other roles is, as you're looking at this landscape of things, as these tests, as these challenges, chaoses, and disruptions are coming through, it's about understanding what needs to change, what you need to simplify, what you need to critically look at, what you need to change or slim down. Um, and while he's been in Aquarius, let's just very, 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 very Aquarian things. Social lives. What does your social life look like? Right? That was one of the things that Saturn, and as a collective, what does the social life look like? What are you all doing out there? Are you doing it in a contribution to your purpose and to community? No? Okay, well, great. I'm going to go ahead and change that for you. I'm going to go ahead and get you to mature through that. What are your ideals and values like right now? Oh, you don't have any? Awesome. Here you go. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, yes. Wait until you see what fell. The devil. I'm going to go ahead and give you that. I'm going to go ahead and put pressure on those ideals and values and get you to sit down and really look at those and then start to process through them and start to actually use them, right? Like maybe it has taken up until this time to find your ideals and values. That's fine. But now with this Sun conjunct Saturn, and as Saturn gets over these last degrees, let's start using those. How do you use them to make decisions in your life? Like my husband and I have a very, very, very clear goal. We know what we want to accomplish by 2026. Vision board. We've got it. We know we're moving towards it. And we had an opportunity over this week to go into something that would have taken us potentially away from that goal. We chose our goals and our visions of the future. We chose these values and these ideals to filter our answer. Is it a yes or is it a no? Well, let's roll back. What are our values and our vision? And what are we really hoping to go for? Okay, well, that doesn't seem to align with that. So let's say no. And let's move on and let's keep trucking. And then purpose. Another big thing has been coming into your purpose. What associates and groups that you're involved in, and how did that change? How did it need to be slimmed down? How did it need to be simplified? Maybe even Page of Swords. Maybe there were some new things that you got out of this. Maybe there were some new areas that you're like, I never knew that I was going to be into this, but I kind of am. And it's so different from anything I've ever been into before. And I'm going to go ahead and try it. I'm going to go ahead and speak my truth about it. I'm going to go ahead and live in that. Or this could simply be cutting away a lot of those things, cutting away. Like if you're the head of your PTA, you're the head of your HOA association, you're always like doing these group activities, you're on the planning committee for the 4th of July parade in your town, whatever. And you've got all of these commitments. Saturn might have been in Aquarius, might have been like, hey, let's look at those. How do you feel about those? Excuse me. And then additionally, where are your contributions to the community through your purpose? How do you contribute to the society at large through your purpose? Two of the big, and then obviously we had tech advancements and changes, but two of the big words and phrases, I should say, that came to me during this time was really about quality over quantity. What can you live without? When the pressure is really on, and this had a lot to do with Uranus in Taurus squaring Saturn over the last little bit. But when the pressure's on, what can you really do without? Can you sit in a car for 4 hours with no music playing, no access to technology, and have a good time? And then the other phrase that kind of kept coming up was, we're not playing, and this, I've said it multiple different areas, we are not playing for the short term anymore. And that was really like, that is the gift of Saturn and Aquarius, and to a little bit of Saturn and Pisces as well, is playing that longer term vision. Playing for, we're getting to the end of the zodiac, playing to the end, playing all the way through, making sure you're not gonna, maneuver things anywhere. So let's see. That is about all I have down on Saturn. So let's talk about these cards. So first off, hold on, I want to get the book. It says, ooh, if y'all need a book recommendation, this is Liz Green's Saturn. Again, I will put it in the description box on YouTube. At the end of this, I'm going to read this beautiful poem that she put in here by Alice Bailey from Esoteric Astrology about Saturn, because I think it's just going to top it off perfectly. But let's go ahead and get into this zodiac oracle. And I want to talk about Saturn first. So this is what this oracle deck, and I'll hold up this card for everyone. You can see the glyphs, you can see the number, you can see how it's being depicted, and get the imagery from that. Saturn is associated with the Roman god Saturn and sometimes with Father Time. Saturn is often called the hard taskmaster, probably because Saturn pushes us to feel ambition, set and achieve goals, and create secure lives. When we undertake these tasks, we usually learn important lessons through facing challenges. So he's kind of got that Father Time, although this is like the youngest, most abbed out Father Time I've ever seen. I mean, for real though. Like, get it, Saturn. I don't know what training regiment you're on, but you should share with the collective because dang. Um, yeah, I love the rings behind here, Saturn's rings. Um, And I love how it's like his head is that center and then the rings keep expanding out and out and out because to me that's what Saturn's all about, right? Again, it's yes, these are rewards, but these are your rewards. And then oh by the way, these are the collective rewards. This is your future rewards, your legacy rewards, etc. So then going to Aquarius, which I love that Aquarius comes out as the number 11. This deck is like got some imagery. This is pretty intense here. So Aquarius is an air fixed sign. Its key phrases, I know. The communicative energy of air finds determination in the fixed, stick to it quality. So let me just pause there and go meet the taskmaster with a fixed, like stick to it quality. Welcome, Saturn and Aquarius, what we've been going through. Excuse me. You may not have the answers, but you have a network available to you. Use it, and the answer to everything is at your fingertips. Put this down so I can get this. The key phrase, I know, is a little misleading. You don't necessarily know the answers, but rather you know how to find them. In this situation, ask who has the information I need. Also, Google's your friend. Technology's your friend. Use it. This is part of the human experience. This is part of why we are here today. Today, why you incarnated, if that is your belief, into this timeline. We have technology. Use it at your fingertips. Be curious. Find things out. Do that work on your own. And that is the gift of Saturn. You can do it on your own. You have the resources, you have the tools. Um, Having big visions and loving ideas makes for great conversations, but can leave a relationship empty of human emotion and others feeling neglected. Avoid being distant, detached, and cold. Which I know this one is kind of that's a whole Aquarian thing, right? Especially as we have Mercury at Aquarius, it's this detached, non-feeling center of our communication and our thought process. And then here we have Pisces. What a very, very different energy. Look at that. Look at all of the imagery here. I mean, now you've got color, you've got like this beautiful woman. It's not rigid, it's not full of like, I mean, this Aquarius is just like full of stone and metal and hardness, where this is much more fluid and open. So, water mutable, key phrase, I believe. The intuitive energy of water flows and flows and flows through the wait, changeableness of mutable quality. There is creativity and psychic insights available, probably hidden in plain sight. The key phrase, I believe, means that you do believe that the answers are out there and that you, by paying attention as only you can, will find them. This is all about you. In this situation, ask, how can I tap into the compassionate heart of the universe? Listen and see with your heart. Pisces energy is very aware of the unseen currents in the world, including the emotions of others. This can be overwhelming. Employ simple energetic protection techniques and avoid destruction escapism. So let's just go back. Let's just go back here where Saturn will challenge, test, provide chaos and disruption for you to mature, gain awards, achievements, and your responsibility. I don't want to do none of that. Nope, we ain't doing. I'm gonna escape. I'm going to not do anything. Look, the time for hiding is over. You've got how many more days until March 7th? Count the days. That's how many days you have before you can't hide no more. Like, cute that you thought that we couldn't see you behind that tree. Cute that you thought that going on a 12-day vacation to ignore your responsibilities and figuring you'd come back and everything would be different. That's really cute. Maybe if it was just a normal Pisces season, sure. But it is not just a normal Pisces season. And we have Saturn that is going to play right into that. Right into these. How are you maturing through this energy? How have you been maturing through your spiritual growth? How have you been maturing to listening to your intuition and getting involved with that? There's going to be a lot of because again, we also have Pluto getting into Aquarius. So it's going to be very interesting. What I will say is these first initial steps into Pisces that Saturn's going to take, be aware, be journaling, right? Be mindful, understand and be like, okay, what is happening here? Watch for the news stories that come out right around this time. Watch for, patterns or synchronicities that you're like, okay, I see now. Write those things down because yes, Saturn is going to just be in Pisces now. Of course, he will retrograde in the sign of Pisces, but you only have about 2.5 years here. I think he might be a little longer this time. King of Cups. I think he might be here just a tad bit longer than the 2.5 years, but still, that's what we get. That is what we get. That's all we get here to go through and to really mature in these areas that, you can look at your natal chart if you know how to read your natal chart, find out where Pisces is, the house that Pisces and that Saturn is going to be transitioning into and through is going to be those themes and those areas of life that may show up for you. And then again, with this King of Cups, very emotional energy, going back to that water, going back to how are you feeling about it? But it's this sign of emotional maturity, right? You don't get to be a king without, hopefully some tests, some challenges, some disruption. You don't get to become a very well-rounded, emotionally stable king if you don't go through some of those. So again, I think it's just this reminder that things happen for you, not to you. And as you process through it, what is this trying to teach you? What is Saturn trying to mature you for? What awards await you at the end of all of this? It could be beyond your wildest dreams. Your wildest dreams. All right. So then I wanted to go to the Celestial deck. and everything is all on one page. So I'm going to read the world first. So this is a tarot deck that its intention is excuse me, with celestial imagery, celestial, like each card has some sort of celestial body involved in it. But this is Saturn. They put Saturn on the world. And as such, this is definitely because this is how we change. This is how we grow. This is how we develop, right? But just to get messages from here, the world, Saturn at journey's end, which is so perfect because he is totally on his journey's end right now. At journey's end, we encounter Saturn, Lord of Karma, who acknowledges our hard won triumphs. In his right hand, Saturn holds a sickle, the implement he used to castrate his father. If you don't have any idea about the mythology of Saturn, definitely something worth looking into or YouTubing. Again, Google is your friend. Use your tools, use your resources. In this context, the sickle symbolizes the resolution and differentiation needed for evolution. To accomplish tasks in the world, the hero must cut through the illusions and falsehoods to perceive the truth. Echoing the well known words of T.S. Eliot, the fool has returned to the place where he started from, but now knows this place for the first time. I'm going to reread that. Because, again, this is the end of the major arcana. The fool starts the major arcana. So, huge symbolism there. The fool has returned. So, here, this would be the fool. Although when you see the fool, he's normally very youthful, starting out on his journey. Now, this is depicting old Father Time, this elder. The fool has returned to the place where he started from, but now knows this place for the first time. Thank you, Saturn, for giving us the ability to do that. The last major arcana card also depicts the sacred circle of the zodiac, symbolic of wholeness and self-actualization. With the appearance of the world card, the individual's unconscious is directing them to participate, cooperate, and be embraced by the world. The card augurs a time when soul is evident in the world, not split off from it. So that is Saturn's card. And then again, we do have both Aquarius and Pisces here. Here is this beautiful Aquarius card, which aligns with the star, Aquarius, and the mana of heaven. To the ancients, Aquarius was the power of flowing, often flooding water, cleansing. Ooh. The star represents both strands of Aquarius. It heralds a revolutionary new way of being after a period of turmoil or suppression, and is also representative of a wellspring of hope and renewal. Aquarius's innovative and creative new vision pours forth like manna from heaven, a welcome downpour after the disruption and chaos of the tower. In the celestial tarot, Hebe pours the invigorating waters recycled from the abundant springs of life over mankind. She symbolizes renewal, hope, bright prospects, inspiration, and spiritual guidance. The star is the light of the higher self, and it is Hebe, the heroic anima, who illuminates inner darkness and heralds the dawn of hope-filled future. We are in the age of Aquarius. That is so on point with all of the things that have been going on in Aquarius, all of these meetups between Saturn, all of the things that we have gone through. Look, illuminating inner darkness, our darkness, and heralding the dawn of hope-filled future, being able to transmute that into hope. And then we get to Pisces. Let me see if this works. Boop. There we go. So we've got this Pisces card, the womb of Pisces. Rather than the two fish of Pisces swimming in opposite direction, the moon portrays two mermaids. Symmetrically positioned, one mermaid heads towards the conscious realm, the future and its possibilities, while her sister swims towards the unconscious, the past and its memories. Head to tail, their curvature forms the sacred circle, the goddess's symbol for eternal cycle. As an image of Pisces, the mermaid personifies the lore of the deep. On a divinatory level, the moon suggests the time when we may be under its spell to imagine new ways of being. Perceptions shift, uncertainty, confusion, and ambiguity may be present as we are swimming in unknown waters. Add Saturn to that mix. In the feminine precincts, outer world concerns are not as pressing as the internal ones. Guidance comes through the intuition and the symbolic magical realm. So again, Saturn, Pisces, looking at questioning how we tune in. I mean, even in this card, this looks a little mermaidish, right? I mean, that's exactly what this kind of tail looks like. So we have mermaids. Symbology is real. Iconography is real. All of these things are very real. So if mermaids mean something to you, or if that calls to you or resonates with you, go and check out Spiritual Meaning of Mermaids. There may be additional messages there. And maybe even how you apply it to as Saturn transitions, makes this transition. How do you, like, maybe mermaids can support in some way? So there's definitely a reason why they are here and why that symbology was chosen. So it is, again, this connection to self. We've been working on that through Aquarius, right? Like, we've been working on our purpose. We've been working on our contributions. We've been understanding ourselves more, understanding our intuition more, our values and our ideals more. And now we take that and we transition it into the sign of Pisces, where we can connect deeper. We can go more internal. We can um, have Saturn help us look into where we're still holding back our own power, where we are still holding back or um, aren't connective as intuitively as we would like, where, the achievements can come from in allowing faith and guidance and just knowingness to lead and leverage, right? Like, yes, we didn't know, if we were going to get a flat tire, but even if we did and we didn't have cell service, guess what? We are incredibly capable human beings, and technology has been around a lot less of time than technology wasn't around. And I know I can tap in. We know we can tap in, and we can do it. It's just because we don't have access to it doesn't mean it still can't be done. Doesn't mean it hasn't been done before. So that is Saturn messaging. I'm going to go ahead and leave these here. All right. So I want to pull a couple cards for the sun in Pisces, a couple more cards for the new moon in Pisces, and then that is where we are going to leave it. Need to give this a break. I'm sure you don't want to hear me sniffling in the microphone anymore. And then I will read the excerpt from this book. All right. So first off, let's talk about Pisces season. So, ancestors, guides, what messages do you have for the collective today as we get into Pisces season? What messages do you have as we start to get into Pisces season? Let's see. What do we have? What do we have? Thank you. Thank you. And we'll get one more. Thank you. All right, let's put those here. Let's open these up. All right. And then I've got the tiny tarot. I got the tiny tarot for extra messages if we need to. All right, so Pisces season. What are some of the messages? This one's coming in super clear. This was the other one that was pulled, this King of Cups. Again, that maturing energy. I love that this came underneath this Pisces row right here. That, this is Pisces are known empaths. They're known for the ability to feel the collective deeply, to feel the energies deeply. It's what makes them one of the best signs to really hone in on intuition and one of the best signs to work on intuition. Um, they are like just masters at the craft of intuition and manifesting in that high vibratory realm. So I love that the King of Cups, this mature, this emotional energy is still here, but he can carry it, right? Like if you look at this here, he is carrying that cup regally. I mean, look at his hat. Like his ass is regal. He's not crumpled. He's not weathered. He's not weary. He's like, I got this. I totally know how to manage my own shit. I know how to manage my own emotional crap. And I know how to do that. And, again, y'all look at the outside. I'm on here. That doesn't mean as we get into this Saturn and oh, look at that. Hold on. Did you just see that? Boom. Page of Cups. Okay. This is exactly what I was just saying. That doesn't mean as we are growing, as we are going through Pisces season, there are not going to be new things to learn. There is absolutely going to be newness here. There is absolutely going to be, and this is internally, I feel this as a very internal reflection of the king is, yes, I am going through things. Yes, I am getting challenged, tested, disrupted. Chaos is around me. Yes, I am feeling the collective really heavily. But guess what? My page is on the inside. It's little. It's tiny. It's a baby. It's a baby. It's the baby because I worked with Saturn in Aquarius, because I did my due diligence, because I know that I have been doing my work from a diligent place. Now, does that mean I'm doing every fucking thing I'm supposed to be doing? Probably not. That's totally okay. But this is why we still have a Page of Cups and he's a baby, because you will always be doing the work. There is always work to be done. You will be doing the work for the rest of your life, period. Own it, understand it. But once you own that and understand that, it becomes super small. It becomes easy to manage. It becomes this King of Cups where I'm swag. I'm so great on the outside. I can carry this cup. I can carry it from here, around the world if I needed to. I'm good. I'm totally good with what's happening. I'm totally mature in this energy. Sorry, I have to look at this because it's got to go upside down. All right, 8 of Cups. So 8 of Cups. And we can't ignore also the 9 of Swords. All right. Because these two are kind of coming together for me. So the 8 of Cups. Again, Saturn. Underneath Saturn. Purpose. What are you ignoring? What have you turned away from? What are you leaving behind? Feeling this is very first of all, where the fuck is this cup? And why is it missing? With Saturn and Aquarius, if you haven't been asking yourself, hey, wait, hold on, I've got a cup missing. If you haven't been taking inventory of your processes, if you haven't been taking inventory of you, of where you're at right now, it's time to start, because you got a cup missing and that cup's got to be found. Maybe that's your reward, right? We talked about Saturn giving a reward at the end of Aquarius. Maybe that cup is your reward. Maybe you're looking at this moon like, yeah, yes, 2 of Cups. There is reward. There is union at the end of this. You can definitely unite with this extra cup. So, okay, I'm totally, okay. Mixing messages. We're going to leave this one over here because this message is definitely like taking that final assessment as we begin to transition into March. Listening. Again, this is a simplistic card. It's it's listening to Mercury and Venus. Simplistic card. Do not get lost in the sauce out here. Do not get lost in all of this hype. Do not go don't get farther away from these cups than you can't get back to them. So that way you can get your other cup, you can get your reward. Like, be present right here with the moon. Be present during this time. Be present as Mercury and Venus are giving you things to unify your journey. They've got your cup. And not only that, but guess what? You didn't even know you're getting an extra cup. Guess what that is? The 10 of Cups. Guess what the 10 of Cups is? The happiest card in the deck in the minor arcana. That is what you want, emotional fulfillment. The 10 of Cups is everything that you want. Everything that you've asked for. The house, the this, the that, all of your manifestations coming true. Emotional fulfillment, happiness, joy, elation, all of these things because you chose to do the work. You chose to do the work. But we're not there. Look, these 2 cups, they're in the tiny tarot. They're coming. But you got to take that stock and that assessment. Take that time to really understand. Take that time. Okay. All right. Where am I getting? Okay. I believe. I have faith. I trust. Saturn and Pisces. I trust. I'm going to put it out there right now. I know I did a damn good job. I know I didn't hit that double tuck like I wanted to, but damn it. I know I did a damn good job. I know I earned enough to be at least considered for first. Not only did you not need it, but you weren't only considered for first, you won the whole damn thing. That, again, going back to the gymnastics, you won a gold medal in your single event and in the all around. You doubled up. You got your whole 10 there. 10s on 10s. So the other piece, as we move out of Aquarius, we have this as the Knight of Swords. As we move out of Aquarius, it's that same thing. It's taking this assessment, but this assessment's all about where I keep hearing the word bondage. That's what I keep hearing is, where are you keeping yourself in bondage? As we go into this Pisces, this Sun and Pisces season, you know, like lots of cups on here. Dude, Pisces, look, Pisces showing up. Pisces is showing up right now with the water. But as we are transitioning, as we are getting into this Pisces season, you know, there's no reason why you still need to be stuck with some things, right? Like, some things you're just going to have to let go. Some things, it's not a no, it's a not now. And you got to let go of that because you don't want to be stuck here. You don't want to be stuck in this 4 of Cups, this questioning, right? Like, look at his sad little face. Like, oh, woe is me. When am I going to see? When am I going to get my cup? When am I going to get 4 of Cups, this great foundation? When am I going to actually move forward with things? It's almost like you're complaining that the judging is taking so long. Dude, look, it's right there. They wrote down your fucking score. Just hold on. We got to take a commercial break. I get it. Commercials suck. I hate them too. It is what it is. It's the process. Don't bondage yourself because you want to control everything. Okay. Thank you, ancestors. Just because it didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to does not mean that it is not the way it needs to be, and does not mean that it is not even better. Now you can choose to continue to have that kind of fixed mindset, that bondage mindset of, well, it didn't go exactly as planned. So, yeah. Okay. But did it go? Did you learn something from it? Did you grow through it? Um, did you get feedback from it? Were you able to do something? So somebody told me today, they're like, you know what? I bet you just love getting feedback, don't you? I do. Now, I may bitch about it. I may cry. I may be angry at first. But even if that emotion takes over, even if that like strong emotion takes me over, um, I will come back and go, I didn't handle that as well as I thought. I was really angry when you said it, and here's why. And it normally has nothing to do with the other person. It's all about me. It's all about how I reacted to something that I could have matured through instead. But getting that feedback allows me that opportunity to have that internal conversation, to work through these bondage areas, these places where I'm continually stuck. So as the sun gets into Pisces and as we do this beautiful Piscean dance for what, 20 some odd, 28, 22 some odd days, um just know like your gifts are coming. That emotional maturity is what is needed. And don't woe is me. Don't get stuck in that bondage. Let it go. Let it go. Let what didn't accumulate, let what didn't fill, let what didn't show up. Moving on. We we got way more shit to do. Don't get stuck. Way more shit to do. Don't get stuck. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. And let's do something really quick for the moon. New moon in Pisces at 1 degree of 22 seconds. 1 degree, 22 minutes. Ooh, you guys, this is having a whole moment. Let me just get one more shuffle here. All right, so let's talk about ancestors. Let's talk about this new moon in Pisces happening on February 20th. What is the messages that you have for the collective today for this new moon in Pisces? What do we have? Whoop. All right, there we go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Running away with the cards. Let's see what we have. Ooh, look at that. So I know the Emperor came out first. Queen of Swords, the Lovers. Nope, this wants to be here. There we go. Wow. That's great. All right, let me just shuffle to get some clarifiers. Hold on, I'm just gonna grab my little honeycomb so that way I can see the moon chart. So with the Emperor here, so this one's the Emperor. I'm trying to find out. So Saturn will be at 28 degrees, 10 minutes of Aquarius. Again, kind of that finalizing mark. I will call it because this is how I work with outer planets and energies. That is an actual conjunct for me with the moon and the sun. Now, the moon and sun are exactly conjunct at 1 degree, 22 minutes. That's what makes a new moon. Um, but with Saturn at 28, even though, yes, I get it, it's in another sign, the energy is still pulsing. It's still rubbing up against this new moon. It's still, there's still something happening here. And we have Mercury at 12 degrees, 49 minutes. Oh, hello. Well, okay, apparently that wants to go there. So the other thing that's really cool is if we look at this chart, I'm going to pull it up here. If we look at this chart, all of the energies are down at this bottom half of the bowl. I always like to look at that because it's almost like they're all building to something. Like it's it's moving. There's this energy of momentum of the wheel turning, like this movement around. So when we talk about this moon and this moon being at like an early, like we're 1 degrees, almost 2 degrees of Pisces, it's early, it's new. There's new potentials, new possibilities, new things that you can go with. There's new So when we think of an emperor, right? An emperor has an empire. It's not a kingdom, it's an empire. It's multiples. There's not duplicates. There's expansion. There's um um like exploration is another good word. So from that emperor standpoint, there's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of responsibility to hold a vision as an emperor, right? You can't just be okay with the mundane. If you're going to rise in rank to an emperor, or let's just even say you get born into empireship, that has nothing to do with like this. You can't have a little mindset with as an emperor and as growing into an emperor. You can't be thinking this small. You have to be thinking big. You have to be going larger. And I love that it is under Aquarius, and even in transitioning into Pisces again, that's that gift of looking. We're not playing that short term anymore. We're looking in this long term. So as this new moon comes up, and as you are setting intention for this new moon on what you can birth, on what can be birthed, go big or go home, man. Get your emperor on. Get that shit poppin'. Look, if you want an effing eagle, say it. Say it and own it and feel it and watch it come to light. Watch it come to light. And you've got a lot of swords here, right? We've got the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords as a clarifier, which it is on the Lover's card, but still, we've got some swords here. And then I did notice too, the Emperor has this large sword. It ain't just about like, own that shit. Yeah, I want an eagle. What? And why can't I? Don't listen to all the noise, right? Like, be clear cut in what you want. The Queen of Swords, she has no problem cutting people off. No problem. No problem cutting through the bullshit and saying, that doesn't meet with my intuitive guidance. That doesn't feel good to me. That doesn't align with my best and highest good. That doesn't encourage the things that I am owning during this Pisces season, the things that I am letting go of, my cups that I'm wanting to welcome in, the bondage that I'm trying to get out of. Nah, that shit don't go with that no more. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to get very clear about it. And as Saturn finishes out in Aquarius with our ideals and values, I'm really clear about the things I don't want. I am really clear about how I've grown and matured. I'm really clear about what, with this Queen of Swords, really clear about what I am bringing into my life, what responsibilities I now have. And I am really clear about how much I am loving it and how much I have matured and how grateful I am that I went through the shit that I went through to get where I am today. Because being an emperor, having that large mindset, knowing that literally anything is possible, thank you, Pisces, why can't I? It goes back to that. It's not a no, it's a not now. You can't tell me no. Look, King and Queen of Swords. You can't tell me no. You can't tell me I can't get anything that I need. You can tell me not right now because I'm not ready for it. I haven't matured enough yet. I haven't had the responsibility enough yet. You can tell me I can't be an emperor right now because my dad's still on the throne or my mom's still on the throne or whatever. Okay, that's fine. I'll wait. I'm patient because I can keep working on myself. I can keep loving into myself. I can keep being really like, I can keep tapping into, I can keep tapping into this divine being that I am, divine center of feeling and understanding, and I can tap into that energy. I can tap in, and not only can I tap in internally, and this is what makes me a force to be reckoned with. This is what makes me an emperor. And having that longer vision is because not only can I tap into that intuitive, feminine, Piscean energy, but I can also bring it forward into the real world through my actions, through my thoughts, through my words, through my communication, and through what I do. Again, actions, right? That's a, I'm a threat overall, all the way around. I'm a threat. I got it on the inside and I got it on the outside. And boom, baby, I got an eagle to prove it. It's like, bitch, what? I'm awesome. It's expansion. This new moon. What are we birthing into the future? What are we birthing into March as all of these energies change? This is it. I don't need to go anywhere else because we are just in a state of celebration, communal celebration. You're not only going to celebrate you, others are going to celebrate you because they see your growth. They see when, look, if we got really, 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 really honest with ourselves, half the reason, half, the whole reason, let's be honest with ourselves, the whole reason why we don't say the shit that we need to say to ourselves and to others is because we're afraid. We're afraid of how people are going to treat us. We're afraid of how people are going to act. We're afraid of how we're going to be ostracized, left out of things. We're going to lose out, whatever that is, right? Lack, scarcity, all of that. That is half the reason why we don't say the shit, that because we want to stay small. We want to stay safe. But have you ever noticed when you actually set boundaries with people, when you actually stand in your power, when you actually speak about the things that you want to speak about, when you actually have the determination to be bold like that, people tend to go, damn, get it? That was awesome. Good for you. They tend to celebrate you. They tend to celebrate your fears. They're all up here. This is all a you thing. All of those fears, when you start speaking, when you start balancing, again, I'm getting very masculine, feminine energies, the action with the intuition to get this. Dude, you're going to have people on your team that are like, dude, I have a friend that has a fucking eagle. Yeah, that shit's cool as hell. Yeah, of course. Right? They're going to celebrate with you. There's going to be this foundation, not only, and I'm getting this, thank you, ancestors, not just people in this world are going to be celebrating you, but people in other worlds are going to be celebrating you, and your ancestors will be celebrating you. Because this is your abundance. This is your wealth. And you're standing into that power. You're standing into the power. You're receiving these gifts that the universe is conspiring to give you, that you've manifested somewhat. But again, we have, your plan, and then you have God's plan, the universe's plan for you, right? So you're accepting and receiving of these gifts. And that's a lot about what the Lovers is too, is the ability to receive and be receptive of your bounties, to not shorten yourself or cut yourself short, owning your power and receiving and knowing that it's divinely guided. It is supported. It's supported in all areas. So there could be a lot about, again, receiving here, especially it being underneath Pisces. That is that gift we can receive in Pisces. Receive, own it. Own it all. Own it all this Pisces new moon. Own it all. Write down the most wildest thing that you want and watch it happen. Feel it, see it, manifest it, watch it happen. All right. That is it think we are good. I think the messages. Oh, just last little thing was to read out of the Liz Green book, Saturn. Again, all of this will be in the description box if you are watching on YouTube. This is a little excerpt from Alice A. Bailey from Esoteric Astrology, her book, Esoteric Astrology. Do not have that book yet. It is on my list. But this is what she says about Saturn. When the disciple knows Saturn as the god who offers opportunity and does not only feel him to be the deity who brings disaster, then he is on the path of discipleship in truth and in deed, and not just theoretically. All right, that is where we are going to end this Twitchy Tuesday. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Make sure that you check out the description box below if you are in YouTube. That has all of the fun stuff, where you can find me. You get this and a lot more information on the Daily Dose. If you do not know what the Daily Dose is, please, please, please go check it out. You can find it in all of my links. You can find it on Twitch in the About section. It is a daily astrology jam between me and my bestie. Together, we make Red Pill Astrology, and it is a 3-month subscription WhatsApp container or capsule where we just go on and talk about astrology, talk about the things that are happening in the world, plan out, project forward. I do special readings in there. There's just, it is for the subscription. It is well worth it. If you are looking, doesn't matter if you're an advanced astrologer or if you are literally just beginning your journey. Our goal at Red Pill Astrology is always to make astrology digestible to all. So make sure to check that out. Again, we are here every Tuesday starting at 5:30 Central Time for Twitch Tuesday. You can check everything out again on Twitch or on YouTube. And I'm sure there's more coming up, but right now this is not letting me clearly. I'm feeling very Piscean right now where I can't kind of see through the fog. So we're going to leave that where it is. Have a